All right, so the Elevate project, that's what it's all about today. What is the overall objective? Can we recruit you into the cult of the Elevate project to create a new methodology for developing intercultural competence? So for sustainable, longer-term strategic learning objectives, a genuine mindset change, is that going to be possible? So looking at effective methodologies to lead to business impact. So it's a crossover. Where are we? Academia, practitioners, business, that's where we are. That's the triangle today. Can we get some competencies that will work in the three domains, the three realms? We've got self-assessment, there's other things coming up, but I wanted to give you a flavor for that today. We have some powerful speakers, Andrea, Aneta, Anna. It's me at the moment, but I'll shut up fairly quickly. It's not about me. Why don't we pile fairly much straight in? So I'm going to just introduce the first person. So this is the format. We'll have three people speak about bridging academia and business, the business perspective and what we can do. Thirdly, the consultant's perspective. So some of you are one of those three, some of you are two, some of you all those three. Have a think, maybe save your questions until the end, but also you can put one or two there. So I'm thinking they speak, we have one or two moderated questions, and then at the end we have questions which could end up in a discussion. We have only got 60 minutes, it's going to feel like 30. So let's pile on in. So hopefully everyone agrees with those rules. First up is someone who is not celebrating their birthday, and there'd be no reason for them to celebrate their birthday. The only reason they might have to celebrate their birthday is they weren't born on this day. But apart from that, they're not celebrating their birthday. So I don't want to make a big deal of it. Okay, so we have Andrea, who's going to be talking about bridging academia and business. What can we say about Andrea? She's been a full professor of intercultural communication at Karlsruhe, just near the coal mine, the University of Applied Science in Germany since 2014. Previously, she has worked in higher education in Germany, the University of Mainz, in newly printed books, and France, the Université du Savoie, Chambéry, as well as Spain, Malaysia, Lithuania, and Armenia. I won't be doing accents for those four countries. Andrea has logged up more than 30 years of intercultural facilitation as an intercultural trainer, coach, and consultant. Her numerous publications, I hope you've read most of them, include contributions on intercultural competence development with the great Citarian, Alexandra Scheitzer and Matthias Otten in the CETA Deutschland book series. Privately, but not anymore, publicly, she's a passionate dancer, and that will be demonstrated in the second hour, and she enjoys running, hiking, and walking. Andrea, do you want to kick us off on your thoughts about the project and bridging between academia and business? Over to you.
Thank you. That was an introduction. Thank you very much for everything you mentioned. That was all correct. So yeah, actually the reason why I'm so happy to have joined and been co-opted by Elevate is that I actually do see, first of all, a real need for what the project is about, and that is, amongst others, looking into intercultural competence, not only from the perspective of the individual and their competencies, but the competencies of the organization. And I'm not sure there's a lot of literature around or a lot of research that has been done about how to assess the intercultural competence of an organization, apart probably from auditing them, right? So we know about audits, we've seen some auditing, but I don't think there are many tools that we could simply use and that are in reach for trainers and consultants and mediators and other people facilitating in intercultural business. So that's, first of all, a gap, right? There's a clear academic gap to my mind, and there's also a lack of definitely empirical data about it. So it's fascinating from an academic point of view, and I think there's as I said, a clear research gap to be filled, which is always a nice thing to find in our field. And the other reason why I really, really enjoy the project is that there are so many practitioners, people from the field, but also trainers and consultants. And this challenge to actually have them work together in the project and bridge that yet another gap between academia and practitioners is something that you spoke about, Alex, Matthias, and myself back in, I think it was 2006 when we had the forum in Bonn, and that was one of the main actually ideas we had of bringing together researchers, agents and clients from whatever institution in intercultural communication to make them actually exchange and share. And one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be able to join this project is because I see this happening in the context of Elevate. Is that good for a first introduction, or do you want me to go on?
That's lovely. That's lovely. I mean, and Ned, why don't we start with this? What's as you say, 2006 and all this sort of stuff. It's not, there's a lack of crossover. Why do we start with the resistance? What's the resistance by business to academia? What's the resistance of academia of respecting business? Have you got an opinion on that?
I think there seems to have been this gap, at least definitely in the context of CEOTAR Germany and the other CEOTARs that I see as well, where actually these two worlds have been meeting, and I could use sort of in a kind of participant or observation. I actually, then a much younger professional, I wanted to, make them work together. And the reasons for them actually not managing well may be different expectations about the roles of, and not really understanding one another that well, in the sense of course, practitioners see us as people being paid by state money and, permanently employed and in very, very privileged positions, but that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of work to do. And actually the expectation that we could sort of service trainers and other practitioners with spoon feeding of the most recent insights from research was one thing that I would mention as something that has to do with that gap from the perspective of the academics, and of course the amount of complexity, but also new, actually really paradigmatic changes in discourse and lack of being able to translate it in a way that practitioners understand how they benefit from the research would be the perspective at the other side, probably, that has contributed to this from my end, or from my point of view. But I would like to hear how other people around would think about this.
Aneta, we were going to come to you later, but do you have a little bit to add on that right now? I mean, we'll do the proper launch. Do you have a reaction to that right now?
So I think intercultural competence is teaching us how to bridge, how to connect. Yes, and I believe like being present in all three different, I would say, environments, so academia, NGO, and business. I really believe that we have often different expectations, but that we can use some of the tools of intercultural competence to connect.
I like it. I like it. So we should eat our own lunch. So, and I like it. We're normally using these in terms of language groups or countries or other things, but we can also look at the realms of ideas. I mean, the obvious example, so I'll just say something fairly provocative and you come back to me. You know, the output of a practitioner is putting bread on the table next month. The output of business is to keep your job, elbow out your competition, get promoted, get some shares, get some money. And an academic, what is it? The aggressive pressure to get tenure or to publish and so on. So have we got, are the objectives, are the purposes of these three groups, are they irreconcilable? I'm provoking you here. Andrea, have you got a view on that?
I've always been one of those people trying to make it happen. So you're not, I don't feel provoked at all. I haven't really managed that really well so far. So I'm looking forward to actually experiencing a shift in attitude in this group, I would say.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. We're going to lead the way. Cool. Cool. Aneta, any reactions to my purpose, the three purposes, the three different competing objectives?
No, it's fine. We publish or perish, and yeah, very much so, and need the recognition. No, I don't object. I think.
Okay. Aneta, any thoughts?
But one question, because as mentioned, I'm looking we look on the values. I really believe we are building on values, yes. And you know, I'm having here WrOpenUp, which is a foundation, yes, where I volunteer. This is really for looking for what is really connecting us. Yes, I think we're talking about the Elevate project as an example. Yes, so having this holistic, making it sustainable by bringing different people working together across one goal. I think this is what we are.
Okay. So we are anti-group think. We are managing diversity of thought and practice. What might look, I'm leaping to the end now. Aneta, what might that look like? If we get over our jealousies and our silos, what might be the benefit for the three parties, the academics, the business people, and the practitioners?
Because we can really design work in business. We need to make sure that we really use the research-backed approach. Yes, that we can experiment in the times when we don't know what to do, but if we are kind of backed with the research, it's helping us to move forward.
Yeah.
So we will not repeat the mistakes which were done maybe 20 years ago. Yes, we know we can assess what worked, what doesn't, yes, what can help us really to achieve our goals faster. So this is how I see from the business perspective the benefits of being close to academia. As an example, many corporations...
Aneta, I'm sorry, we have to interrupt you. If you can disconnect your earphones and your mic and maybe use only the mic from the computer, because we already got a feedback from someone that is chopped and we cannot hear like super well.
Okay, I'm connecting actually only with computers, so I don't know.
Okay, now it's better maybe when you are closer, because I thought it only me, but someone already wrote something in the chat. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so there seems to be some resistance there in terms of, I mean, you know, just seeing from the practitioner's point of view, raw data, I think most practitioners would run fast away from raw data, and they desperately need the academics to process, summarize, simplify, and from a sort of selfish perspective, sort of take, deliver. I like your spoon-fed idea. It's rather like YouTube, isn't it? You know, no one watches a 30-minute YouTube unless it's a long format podcast these days. You don't switch on a 6-minuter, but you might switch on a 4-minuter. We have attention deficit. We have these things. So, Andrea, is it going to work? Are you underpaid academics going to do all this hard graft and give your results away? Again, I am being provocative.
we always give our results away because we publish them, so we're not
Okay.
we're not bored about that at all at any moment. Is it going to work? I'm sure it's going to work because I don't think you're so aversive to raw data, because you ask your clients what they need, for example, don't you?
Okay, that's
You
good.
ask them questions, you ask them, what do you want, what do you need? And that's the first sort of way of gaining raw data. And we just do it in a slightly more systematic way. But the thing is indeed to show how you can, leverage and maximize your success by actually paying more closely attention to tailoring actually your offering to what the customer needs. And for that, and actually gaining information about them is a way of a step that you can't skip if you want to do that.
Very good. So yes, we go towards data-driven insights, as opposed to licking your finger, putting it up in the air and seeing which way the wind is blowing. Very good, very good. So it seems like there's going to be an increase or a transfer or an expansion of competence, and we've all got to commit. We've all got to get into that. Aneta, you seem to be quite optimistic. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think there are no barriers, or what's the first barrier that might pop up?
Yes, I think I have a different construction of my brain because I really work with academia, different sectors. And if we're talking about the raw data, we need the raw data, but we can really collaborate with academia to get the meaning of the data, to get the interpretation of the data, understand the bias behind the data, because there might be, yes, what are we looking for? Are we looking only for quantitative data to take our decision, or maybe qualitative data? So really, I am maybe overly optimistic, but I really prefer this perception to bridge and to move for a better world for everyone.
Very good. I mean, we could even bring Anna in now. Data insights, making better decision. Is that going to make a practitioner's life easier in convincing a business to go down this path? Any thoughts on that, Anna?
Definitely, no doubt. This is also the objective, is to help practitioners to have a better conversations with their clients, meaningful conversation, data-driven conversation. So yeah, this is the main idea.
Very good. Actually, here we go. There's quite a funny comment, so I'm going to bring that in. Rodolfo, thank you, mate. Attention deficit isn't inherently. I'm showing attention deficit right now. Inherently negative. It reflects a different cognitive style that can bring potential, like creativity, focus in specific areas, and innovative thinking. Very good. We are all catered for today. Very good. All right, so we've got the players on the screen. Why don't we move on to something more specific and introduce Aneta properly? It's not her birthday. No, here we go. So I just listen to all this good. This is good stuff. And how do you pronounce your organization? WrOpenUp.
It can be WrOpenUp. We call it Wro because Wro is our city when we created.
Oh, it's in Wrocław.
Wrocław.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay. Good. God, the stress of a moderator. Here we go. Go. With 20 plus years in international business, it doesn't look like it, but it's true. Aneta leads leadership and organizational development for Europe and Africa for a famous but secret multinational company. As president of the WrOpenUp Foundation, together with over 200 international volunteers, she empowers youth with future work skills, with diversity being at WrOpenUp's core. She has edited a book on CSR, you all know what that is, corporate social responsibility in Poland, published by Axel Springer, and she's published several articles on diversity and is a PhD candidate on strategic diversity management. Privately, again, no longer, Aneta loves to travel. She has now visited to more than 50 countries. I believe that's the quarter of the sovereign states of this globe, and has learnt 4 languages. You could come to Britain with those language skills, where we only speak bad British English. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Aneta, the business perspective, we played around with it. Is there a core message you would like to share with the audience?
I will come back to this intercultural competence, yes, because even in this group we are today, yes, with Professor Andrea, I don't know if I can pronounce properly. Can you help me?
Cnyrim.
Cnyrim, okay. With Anna Zelno as a practitioner, we see that our intercultural competence, to a certain level, to a different level, probably of every person in this room, we can have much better outcomes. And what business is focusing on the impact, is really focused on making the change, making the impact, moving forward. Yes. So if we can combine everything what we know, everything what we experience, we create really better world for everyone. And what is teaching us intercultural competence? It's teaching us how to be adaptable, how to be flexible, how to be curious, and this everything can lead really to innovation. And if we observe the disruptive changes in our world, I really think that this intercultural competence is an enabler of progress.
Understood, understood. Are there misconceptions about what it is that are causing resistance? Do people misunderstand it?
I'm not sure if I want to talk about resistance, because really working in a global organization and collaborating with really numerous global organizations as part of our WrOpenUp partnerships, I really see rather enthusiasm about intercultural competence and really willingness to explore, willingness to learn. We see this even by the number of volunteers who want to get the trainer in intercultural competence and bring it to youth.
Okay.
So I cannot speak about, maybe I'm biased because I'm like kind of in the middle of the words, or being actually a bit in every word. But I do not see resistance really.
Okay, good. God, I remember when I was young and I was the most enthusiastic person in the room. I'm handing it over to the next generation. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. How do we integrate intercultural training, intercultural competence into diverse teams or business? How do we start? How do we achieve that?
I would first stop thinking about intercultural competence as a training, because I really believe that it should be like part of a tissue of an organization. Yes, so if we do actually on every part of the employee life cycle, yes, we should be curious. We should be open to learn. Should be humble. That we really create an environment for everyone to become the best part. Yes, to become the best they can be. So no matter if we start with the hiring, no matter if we go to the development over different career paths, yes, this should be part of what we do. I believe that the training is just again an enabler, perhaps, yes, but it should be really part of everything what we do. We should have this perspective of the needs of people coming from different cultures. If we are
very good, very good. I just thank you. I've just thought of something. Is there a numerical business case for this training in business already, or does this project necessarily have to go and find that?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Can you go to Unilever and say, look, I've got an absolutely rock solid numbers business case, some analytical financial numbers, intercultural competence in, better results out, conflict reduction out. Is that case rock solid now, or does the Elevate project have to supply that and help that?
I believe that we do not, that we still will benefit from having some examples, but we never, even if we see some correlations, we can never really distill to know that what one element is having as the impact, is if there is a causation. Yes, so this is something I believe in research, but maybe we have looked like other perspective. It is very difficult to say that this one complex element, because for me the competence, cultural competence, is having a set of different sub-competencies, which are bringing different values in different moments of business life.
Okay, so there's a generalized enriching which will have benefits. There's a correlation. We can overall feel better or see improvement, but no straight line causation. Sounds good.
I need to ask for the research perspective, yes, because maybe there is data I am not aware of. Yes, but
okay. Well, yeah. Why don't we quickly bring Andrea in then? What's your point about that? Do you think we could build a tighter causation case, or is that never going to happen? Can we get an A4 with numbers on a page and everyone's going to be blown away? How optimistic can we be?
I'm actually pretty optimistic for actually a reason not connected with the project yet, and that is I actually right now have a student doing his final paper with me on a case that many of you will know because Tsedal Neely studied it very thoroughly, and it's the case of Hiroshi Mikitani at Rakuten in Japan, introducing admittedly English language, right? So it's a rock solid case of where the students said, yes, it's interesting, but did it really provide that return on investment that they hoped for? And he did a long-term analysis of, he's an industrial engineer, so he's a sort of a number cruncher type of a student, not the usual type we get in very often international management, but rather, very statistical. And I could use that methodology in a long-term perspective. I could make it available to the team, and I think that we get better arguments with that kind of approach. So I have ideas on that, but admittedly, the return on, it's obviously convincing people about the return on investment for intercultural training. And but I think if we have more studies like that, then probably we can derive, how to build our argumentation. Yeah,
it seems to be, particularly with social media, I don't know why, that people are going, I suppose because of the lack of fact checking, that we need more studies these days. We need to go back to robust research to back up our arguments. Why don't we at this point bring in Anna and the practitioner's perspective? Anna, don't blush. I know it's hot in here. Don't blush as I go through some of your, I haven't got time for all of your achievements, but let's just have a go at talking about some of them. So Anna Zelno is the CEO of Intercultures España and Latin America, co-founder of the Academy for Diversity and Innovation. Last year, Anna celebrated, again, it doesn't really compute, her 20th anniversary as an intercultural trainer, starting at a kindergarten near Wrocław. She has delivered training on intercultural competence, inclusive leadership and DEI projects across Europe, South America, and Africa. In 2019, Anna was shortlisted for the Diversity and Inclusion Role Model Prize for the European Diversity Awards. Please, everybody, please, come on, here we go. Good. Very inclusive on the clapping. She has been a collaborator at the European Institute for Diversity Management over the last 10 years. Born in Poland, Anna has lived in Germany and is currently based in Spain. She is a passionate change maker, friend, and interculturalist. Woo! Okay, so the practitioner's perspective. I guess quite a few people watching here are exhausted people with train tickets and computers, and they know how to pack a suitcase. What's in for them? What would you like to talk about? Are you going to pitch the case why practitioners should get involved?
You know, I'm one of the speaker or panelists, they going to answer own questions probably. What I'm going to do now, it's because this 20 years ago was not in kindergarten in Wrocław, but it was at the university in Germany where Andrea Cnyrim was my first teacher for intercultural competence. And I never will stop being grateful for the career path, and everything what it's thanks to Andrea, and thank you very much to give me the chance to see the talent at that time, to believe in me, and I could start learning with Andrea. And in fact, 20 years ago, I had the first opportunity to co-facilitate a training with Andrea. So. And I will respond to another question that you asked Aneta before, and also to Andrea, if there are business cases or if there are cases, successful cases. So at Intercultures, we are doing this already. So we measure the impact of our trainings. We do the intercultural competence assessment before a training program, then we do it at the end. It's true that we don't measure still the ROI, the return on investment, but I also think this is a very complex thing. So it's not all depends only on the training program and the development, especially in the world that is changing so fast. So I think it will be even unfair to trying to measure this in this way. So. And if you ask me what was exactly your question?
It's all good. Let's move on. What does a practitioner want from a client? Do they want a longer term relationship?
Of course, I think every practitioner should wish it, and it should be the objective. So
Part B. How
I can also, sorry, because even at Intercultures, I joined Intercultures more or less 15 years ago. At that time, or probably when Stefan Meister founded Intercultures, the first of the values was schön auf Deutsch Nachhaltigkeit, so sustainability. And it was about having sustainable relationships with the client and deliver sustainable training outcomes. So it was always there. So I think every single person should like to stay with the client as long as possible and see the impact and be able to measure the impact. And I think this is one of the frustration of many trainers in the field. And it was my frustration a few years ago as I visited companies for 1 day or 2 days training. I was also like I was being subcontracted for other companies, and I couldn't do the need analysis properly. I couldn't really be with the client. And now, since I'm business owner, so I can decide what I do and what I offer and what kind of program and how long I'll stay with the client. And of course, there are clients with whom we are only like for a few days, but it's like less and less. So. Of them.
No, very good. I remember George Renwick a million years ago, God rest his soul, talked about 5 days training being reduced to 1 day. Farnham Castle in the UK used to do a 4.25 day conference on India with lots of volunteers, ambassadors, and all sorts of people. And now it's a quick nasty, or can I get this remotely or something? So we want to move. The practitioner wants to move from a transaction, a brief, a one-off, give me the top tips, give me the stereotypes, to what? A strategic partnership? What are we moving it to?
To trainings program, and also trainings and consulting program, when we can start with the client and we assess all the needs and we help the client to see their pain points. So why, for example, they need intercultural competence. And this is also why Elevate started, because and it's very different in different countries. In Spain, there is still like really lack of awareness in terms of intercultural competence. For many organizations, this is not something they wish to have, or they understand they really need. They don't see the value. But if we can prove and show them, look, in all these departments, you need competences that help your people working in diverse environment, because I think it's also important when we talk about intercultural competence, we are not longer talking about international competence, and we are all living in diverse and working in diverse environments. Diversity is everywhere. So this is how we want to start also with this project. So we go to the company and we help them to assess their intercultural competence on different level. Maybe later when I'm going to talk about the project, I can tell more what was our inspiration and so on. And once we help the clients see what they need, because really mostly there is unconscious incompetence. They don't know what they need. They don't know that many of the reasons of failure, so many things, is there's just lack of intercultural competence, and it has proven impact on business results. So if we can, with the assessment, show them where are the gaps, what they need, and then design a tailor-made program. And with tailor-made program, we don't mind here only like program for groups or for organization. We mean tailored made for every single participant, because now with AI we can do it. So we can design. I'm super fun now. One of my hobbies is developing exercises for how to develop metacognitive skills, and I do it with AI, and I see the huge potential of AI in the training field, and this is exactly also part of the project. So we can design together with the client, together with the participants. Participants are not clients normally, right? So there are internal clients in the organization. We can really tailor this to their real needs and measure it.
No, exactly. Okay, so here we go. So we're going from the old days, oh my word, we've got to deal with this country, nations, flags, country stereotypes, to a more sophisticated, as you say, values-based idea. And it seems to be the relationship with the practitioner and the business, and maybe with academia as well, is a partnership. It is a co-creation to get to understanding, as you say, unconscious incompetence, moving from then co-design, co-creation, and it's data-driven. I think that's the key factor for the breakthrough via business. That the negative of doing training tomorrow in a business is the bad experiences they've had with training yesterday.
Exactly. Oh my, can I talk about it?
Go.
Because we receive so many, and this is our problem. This is my frustration. This is why Elevate came to life. We receive calls from clients. Anna, can you do something? We had a trainer last year, and they really didn't deliver properly. The business was not happy. So it was like do's and don'ts in PowerPoint. And yeah, there are a lot of, and I think many of us who are in the field for longer are really suffering for a group of people who are so-called wannabe trainers, and they went to Japan for 6 years, and then they come back and they believe they can deliver intercultural training. There are a lot of people like this. So without the proper knowledge, experience, tools, this is also why Academy for Diversity and Innovation was built, because we also upskill trainers. But yeah, there are a lot of, how to say it, so bad experiences that people had, organization had in the past, and they are skeptical. But yeah, we take the clients over.
We're also getting, so I wanted to make a couple of points. Ursula Brinkman within CETA talked about, we desperately need a sort of core of intercultural competence for practitioners, because anybody can turn up. So you had people, applied linguists, business experts, deep country experts, and they all thought they could do it. And there was also this sort of mono-nation type. I'm an expert on China. Well, okay, if you're an expert on China 20 years ago, you're no longer an expert on China. That much was proved yesterday on the New York Stock Exchange. So there's that idea. So there's this core. Is that what we're doing? Are we codifying core competence? Does anyone want to take that on? Do we need to, within anything, business, Do we need to codify and set core competence, core intercultural competence?
We are now redefining. So we are now on the stage where we are doing the desk research, and we probably we don't know what we come with. We come up, so we don't know it today because our deadline is like in a few months. So we really don't want to say now what exactly, which name we give to this competence, because what we see is that what was known before as intercultural competence, now there's a lot of overlapping with D&I competences. And so, yeah, we will definitely come up with a new definition. Probably not with a new definition of culture, but a definition of culture that I think there's no need to come up with new definition, because the definition of culture never said that there are borders, national passports that are defining people. So this is what interculturalists did. And if you ask me for culture-specific training, I think culture-specific training will still exist in a certain way because they are also kind of needed. So this is with general awareness of intercultural competence, yeah, it's great. But if I go to Mauritania for longer, I do appreciate to understand the context, the importance of the values, the religion, what are the differences between, I don't know, different Islamic countries, for example. So this kind of training, I think they will still exist, but this is not longer like our core business here, for example.
Yeah, so you would name that honestly and say something like it's relocation training. Here we go. I'm just going to read this. Rodolfo, the wisest man in the room. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Just flipped across. It depends as practitioners remain energetically connected with clients, maintaining a transition affirming attitude. Interesting. From both sides could be the need in the pursuit of intercultural competence, which is never fully achieved. With Carolyn saying that as practitioners, the ultimate goal should be that our clients don't need us anymore, which of course is the antithesis to consultancy. Consultancy are like cockroaches. Once you bring them in, they will never leave. So we have the idea of, like Buddhism, the ultimate state is disappearance versus...
But if I can say something on this also, because with some clients, we started with intercultural competence training, and now we are developing other projects. So we create feedback cultures, we create learning culture, growth mindset, we measure psychological safety. So we do a lot of things, and we started with intercultural competence training.
Very good, very good. No, exactly. I think it's this co-development, isn't it? So, and we broaden up, and we know, but also, in terms of the level of competence, I'm 50 years experienced in one thing. If it's a new thing, I'm not 50 years experienced. I'm something else. I think that working in multidisciplinary groups is the best way to go. I like it. One professional can bring the knowledge of a specific cultural group. Another professional can bring a set of skills necessary to design a training. Another professional could be the best moderator, etc., as we are proving today. So very good. So we have managed diversity within the delivery team, managed diversity within the business reality, and obviously that the positions of the universities and the things that they choose to study is there. Very good, very good, very good. So, there we go. Do you wish to talk about the slides, Anna, since you have launched them?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the time, and I think we should start.
It's all good. It's all good. Is this a bit of a pitch or an intro? Is this an invitation to participate?
Exactly. So this is what Elevate is about. This is what our project is about. You can see here the beautiful name with beautiful logo, and the project is co-founded. It's not founded, it's co-founded by European Union. And what we managed to do, and because we also wanted to walk the talk, and we wanted to have this experience, we wanted to bridge academia and consulting. So we invited 3 different universities and 3 consulting companies from 5 different countries in Europe. and we started to work together. And I know that Olivia Tarasiewicz is here in the room, and she said years ago on a conference that multi-sectorial, you can improve my pronunciation.
I think you got it just right.
Multi-sectoral communication is intercultural communication. It's a great example of intercultural communication. This is exactly what we can see here in this project when academia and consulting or business meet. And it's beautiful to see it because someone said like intercultural competence is not someone that you can develop. You take an assessment, you develop it, and you have it for ever. It's really contextual. It depends on the situation, on many different things, your mental health, context basically also. So we have now this amazing team. So here, thank you again. I know that there are people from Mondragon for the trust because they are coordinator of the project. And so we really believe that the field of intercultural competence needs a transformative change. We go for meaningful and sustainable learning outcomes. Also, we want to, with the program, with the methodology, we are going to develop to ensure that the learning outcomes will be sustainable. We know that first we have to raise deep awareness among all key decision makers. So there are not only companies, there are also politicians. So there's all the different sectors, and academia has to change a little bit also. So this is our problem in Spain, for example. There's lack of empirical data because it's not worth for them to do empirical data if this is not a private business school.
Yeah.
We go for innovative solutions. So we are honored to work with Stefan Rupert, and some of you know Stefan. Stefan is doing amazing things in the field of intercultural training also. So we hope to develop this new methodology. Will be definitely something blended. We have already a lot of ideas, but we want to really follow the research and do the work first and ask clients, ask practitioners. This is where we are going to ask people also if they want to contribute and collaborate. And part of the project will be a web-based app also. And we hope to really bring change to the organization, and to the field, because the field needs the change. So
Anna, what do you want from the people on this webinar?
I will, before I tell them what I want from them, I will share, because we asked people to do this survey, and probably people are very curious to know if other people also voted as they did. So we asked for 6 characteristics of an interculturally competent person and 3 characteristics of an interculturally competent organization. Why? Because we want to see also what is the difference when we talk about intercultural competence of individuals, and what is the difference when we talk about intercultural competence of organizations, and what things we can transfer also in terms of later assessment and so on. So these are your votes. Sydney, who is with us, did this great summary. So 70 survey respondents. First was open-mindedness, empathy, curiosity, adaptability, effective communication, and self-awareness. Nothing new probably for many people. My beloved metacognitive skills are not here, so there were not enough people voting for this. And for the 3 characteristics of interculturally competent organization, inclusivity and diversity, adaptability and flexibility, that we clustered them because they are similar. And here we clustered effective communication and psychological safety. So this is the 3 things. We are going to run surveys and questionnaires. We're going to invite you. Now, at this stage, we are doing literature review, and really it's not easy to find articles about intercultural competence of organizations. Even if we find articles with the title Organizational Intercultural Competence, at the end it's really all about people, leadership, not about organizations. So the other day, Andrea told me, save this article, because this is also to show that people are talking about organizational competence, but they are really thinking about personal, individual, on individual level. So once we have this literature review done, we design questionnaires and we are going to run interviews in 5 countries. Once we have it, we will have a report written, everything coordinated by Alex Frame, who is our also research guru in this project, together with Andrea Cnyrim. And we are going to design the ICC assessment for organizations. And here, because this is really a project with a very small budget and we don't have a lot of time, we will get inspired, we already said it in the application, on DEIB, Global Diversity, Equity and Inclusion benchmark. So some of you may know this is a tool, an assessment tool for organizations with 5 levels of maturity. So this will be our inspiration. We will see what data we gather, how academia helped us to analyze this data, and we are going to come up with a self-assessment for organizations. Why we do it? Because we want them to see that they really need to do something about intercultural competence. We have several meetings, but like in-person meetings, but this meeting is very important because yesterday, during the 16th birthday of Theatre Polska, we also announced that we combine our meeting, our project meeting, with the conference of Theatre Polska end of May. So will be another great conference. Matthew, you joined Malaga, so you know how I organized.
It was very well organized.
Aneta, because Aneta was there. Aneta was part of the organizing team. So we will pilot the assessment in the organizations, and then by the end of June, I think we should have this ready and finished. And at the same time, already in spring, we start, and this is the call now for collaboration. We are going to collect best practices in intercultural training field. So whatever you have, if you have own tools that you designed and you want to make them famous, or if you want to collaborate because you have great ideas and you want to find your tribe since other tribes are dying. So I would invite also to join us. We are going to use, we still didn't decide because everything is really like well planned. So there will be a moment to design the methodological guidelines for the research, and then we decide, are we going to do this, like, are we going to use Delphi methods? Are we going to use focus groups? So we will decide, we still don't know, but we are going to definitely ask the field and the community what are the best practices, what they know. Then we are going to design this learning path of intercultural competence development program. So this will be like a long path, we hope. And here we include also this web-based app. So web-based AI app. And by the end of September 2026, we hope to have a new handbook for intercultural competence. I'm looking now, I have here the exactly. So as for now, this is the last edition. You cannot see it because it's blurred, but I think many of you know this book by Landis and Bauk. So yeah, you will see it on our LinkedIn page. You can follow us. So we are going to share different books. So I don't know if someone else before us will publish really comprehensive and innovative intercultural competence training handbook, but we aim to do it.
Very good. So, Adeline and Marcia, how can people get involved? So you want their experiences, you want their models. What else do you want? Do you want them to also subscribe to the newsletter?
Exactly. So we have newsletter, we have everything, but probably the best way now, if I don't know if there is something from the team who can put the link to the newsletter, or I will do it if you entertain the
well, everyone's
the audience.
have a list
so I will put
Yeah.
We
You'll have a-
definitely will share. Yeah, exactly. So after this webinar, we are going to share the invitation to follow us on and get subscribed. We are going to organize a series of webinars. And we are very, very open to collaboration, and we'd like to go out of the bubble. We know like many of us are Seatarians, and I think it's good also to connect with other communities. So yeah.
So there we are. Sandra's just put the project newsletter, MailChimp. So everyone grabs that within chat. That's a good idea. Are there opportunities? USA, North Africa, Morocco. Are you
This is,
excluding or including Morocco?
It's a very good question. So definitely for the collaboration, we are going to include everyone and we already started the collaborations and people are like texting from all over the world. But the proper research, we only can do it in the 5 countries of the project. But for collaboration, we are definitely very open, and we are going to announce everything what we are going to do so people can join us for boot camps, for conferences, and yeah. Okay,
so if you like, the product is a 5-country product, but the participation is wider than that.
And the product will be worldwide, so the research is not worldwide.
So the research is, or
but
the
product will be
aid research will be the 5 countries.
Yeah. So we will make European Union, famous with this project.
I can hear Ursula. She's on the other line. She's very happy. It's all good. It's all good. So this handbook, will it be addressed to business and organizations? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And here's Sandra, thank you. Another project link, the LinkedIn page or company page. Sounds good. All right, we're just about there. Should we just do a finishing sentence? How do you feel? What do you think? Andrea, a finishing sentence.
I'm just ever so happy and proud and honored to be part of it. Thank you, Anna.
Nice one. Aneta.
So honored also to be part of the team, especially in the conception phase. Yes, so now when we can really contribute, learn, exchange, and to provoke, like you did, Matthew, with some of the questions today.
Did I go too far?
No.
I wasn't trying hard enough. All right, nice one. Thank you. Anna, last comment.
I think also the change that I would like to bring to the field, and we tried it also with Academy, is that I strongly believe sharing is caring, and sharing is a new learning. So if we share and there is not enough sharing, so we want to be also role models for sharing, and yeah, so then we can achieve more better. So
no, exactly. I think we are in one of these crazy times of change. Cooperation in the times of change is maxing out the opportunity. If you can keep the trust going, keep the delivery going, it's going to work. All right, guys, we've hit the time. We must not go over. Budget. That's just not an EU thing. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for participating. Thanks, contributors. We'll see you next time.